Fred Film Radio, I'm Gianluca De Angelis from the second edition of the Stop in Motion Days, and I'm deeply honored to be here with the co-founder and creative director of Aardman Animation, Mr. Peter Lord. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
You are Master of Emotion of the second edition of the Stop in Motion Days. Yep. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Aardman Animations. Yep. You've gone through evolution of technology, reshaping of the world of animation itself. So how does this goal, this 50th anniversary goal feel to you and to your partner in crime, Mr. David Braxton?
Yeah. Wow. It's been such an amazing ride, from the start. That I have to feel very happy about it. Of course I do. I feel very proud of it. When we started, we were two guys. We met when we were 12 years old.
Wow.
And then we started experimenting when we were like 16 years old. And what was our ambition then? I don't remember. Nothing. The world was so different. Disney owned the feature film business. There was Disney up there, somewhere in the clouds, and then like a god. And then there was TV commercials. There was films for kids. So I'm sure our ambitions were low, just to make a TV series for kids. I think was the plan. And so we never dreamt about making feature films. I remember being on a stage, I think it was in Annecy, and saying, "Oh, we'll never make a feature film," because I didn't believe we could. But the world has changed so much. There are so many opportunities, and we've ridden that wave, and I think to some extent also, led the wave as well in various ways. So it's been incredibly exciting.
And you've created a lot of amazing characters as well, Wallace and Gromit, Shaun the Sheep, Morph, which was one of the first creations, the Pirates, and they all feel so very alive, but is there one that you're particularly attached to, looking back?
Yeah.
It's hard to choose a favorite son, but everyone has one.
It's always a challenge. It's true, yeah. Well, I guess it's actually Morph, I think, because he was the first one.
Okay.
And by luck or else great judgment, there's a certain sort of perfection about Morph. Because when you see him on screen, if people have seen him on screen, he's only about this big.
Yeah.
And he's made of brown clay. And he walks around on a tabletop. So if he picks up a pencil, for example, it's like a huge piece of timber for him, and he appears to live on a tabletop, surrounded by artists' materials, and that's what you see on screen, and that's the reality. He is actually that big and made of clay. The only thing that isn't true is he's not actually alive. but apart from that, it's all true. And I think there's a certain sort of purity about that.
Yes. Sure.
And a simple idea. He doesn't speak. He just makes noises, which sort of limits limits the possibilities a bit. There are challenges in that.
Yeah.
There are challenges, but. I'm very pleased with him. I like him. I love him. In fact, I normally have him with me. And if I remember, I'll take a picture.
Yeah. And what is also amazing is that the humor in your films is particularly British. You can feel its British specification, but it talks to a broader audience, an international audience. So how did you find this balance, between a British identity, but also an universal language?
Yeah, you're right. I think the answer is simple. I think you do what is natural to you, and hope the world will join you. You can't make the world like you. You know, it's you said it's very British, which I think it is too. I'm sure it is. I know it is. And yet, a lot of British humour, like famously like Monty Python, for example,
exactly.
it's very verbal. It's very much about vocal performances, different accents, and vocal acting, performing. And whereas a lot of what we do, Morph and Sean particularly, are effectively silent. Yeah. So that's different. But then the things that they do, the things that Sean and the other sheep do, and their approach to life, I think that's what's so English. I think so. You know, it's easy to see with that film that I made, The Pirates. It's kind of easy to see how that's British, I think, because of the language as well, and the constant comedy, written comedy by a very smart writer. But with Sean, the interesting thing with Sean is like it is slapstick. It's visual. It's visual comedy, and so that speaks to everyone around the world. That's great news. You don't have to dub it into other languages. That's good news. But why it's English is really I find it hard to define.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's a certain I was going to say pessimism. That's not quite what I mean. Like in British comedy, we like losers.
Yeah.
We do more. Whereas I think in America, the comedy they're like winners more.
Yeah.
And
there's this recurrent clumsiness that affects a lot of your characters. You know, Wallace, of course, Sean the Sheep as well. And what is fascinating behind, of course, the soul that they have there, the feel that they have, is that you've gone through, as I said before, more than 50 years of animation. You've seen the world reshaping, and audiences have changed, has switched a lot. But do you think that they still have the patience to capture the work behind the craft, the handman craft from which characterizes stop motion? They still have the patience for understanding slowness that's behind the work, or does the audience need to be constantly rethought on how stop motion works? They need faster things and more immediate things. They still can capture the beauty behind the crafted work of animation.
It's a very interesting question. It is, and there's a couple of aspects to it. I mean, one is that we're always being told that young audiences are more impatient, have less attention span. We're always being told that. We don't particularly pay attention to that, but there's one particular area which is with a movie particularly, and maybe the pressure comes particularly from the streamers who don't, and the streamers don't want you to turn off, right? They want so they have this. Their mantra is to grab the audience by the shirt, by the neck, as quick as possible, make them laugh as much as possible, and so they don't lose them at the start.
Yeah, true.
So I think we do we do that? No, not very much. No, but we're aware of it. The audience, the modern audience, is how would I understand? I mean, I'm 70 now, so I don't pretend for a moment to understand contemporary thinking, but by my experience is that sort of there's good classical thinking that still it just works. I mean, if it didn't work, we'd know about it. There are people at the studio, much younger than me, who who are very aware of it. They're very aware on social media how that works, don't they? And that's their job, is to promote on social media, and that has different logic there. You know, we know the TikTok generation is different. The things they like are different, but we still find. Oh well, I can only say we don't seem to have any trouble with
but I think that what excelled in Aardman Animation from the very beginning is that you spoke to an audience that can be adults, can be kids, and you never treat the kids like idiots. No. I mean, that's recurrent today to feel like kids need to be educated and explained, but you never did that. I think that you overstimulate the kids, to think, to be even with a little bit of eeriness, of your film, something that could be scary to some people, but funny at the same time. So
yes, I think trusting the audience is really important. Yeah, it is. 'Cause when if you start thinking the audience is dumb, then that's terrible. You'll make terrible things then, I think. So trusting them, trusting their intelligence, trusting the material, so important. And I mean, I said it the other day. We almost, we almost never make films for children as such. We make it's easy to say for people. That's it. Yeah, it's just and I know, because I've been told many thousands of times that whole families can enjoy it together, which is an amazing thing. I don't even know exactly how, except if you've got really good material, really good performances. Good performance, great script, great comedy, you win the audience.
And you mentioned social media, of course, and how languages and how IP are treated and are evolving. It's fascinating how you approach merchandising, licensing IPs. The collaboration between Wallace and Gromit and Babu was particularly interesting to me. So how do you approach that world? How do you balance the affection that you have for your characters, but also the intelligence also of contaminating with different languages, different worlds, such as the fashion one, for example?
Yes, it is, again, it's a dynamic question, a live question, because despite all our success, it isn't easy. The current financial climate is not easy. So therefore, if there's a chance to get some income from a separate thing like that partnership with Barber, for example, then we'll take it. But of course, we also have principles. So of course, so if it's terrible, we won't touch it. We used to do a lot of advertising in the past, and it's that's just faded away because, again, because the world has changed. People don't watch adverts in the same way they used to. So that's important. It's important. And again, I think, as with the films, ideally, everything you do is honest, witty, funny, charming, and that's what we try to do. But I will tell you, if I see in a shop, the shelves covered in Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep, I'm very happy.
I bet, and it's interesting also how the studio is evolving and is now running on two separate but parallel paths. You're working on the sequel of Shaun the Sheep, of course, which is coming out soon, but also working on different IPs and different from across the world, such as Pokemon Tales, a partnership with the Pokemon Company, The Misadventures of Sirfetch'd and Pichu. So how's it working out? Working on historic IP of yours, but also contaminating with different ones. And
I must say the Pokemon thing is amazing. I mean, it's because I'm not a Pokemon generation either. So they these guys came to visit us in Bristol, and they said they wanted to do something with stop motion, and they wanted it to be English. So we thought, whoa, you've come to the right place, you know. And it's technically very challenging because their creatures, the Pokemon, have been designed for CG, really.
Yeah.
So I can't
To translate them in
it's good because we can't change them because they are so they're great to work with. I really like them. They care so much about their creatures.
Yeah.
You know, they just care about
do, yeah.
exactly, and they know exactly how tall they are. You know, and some of them are
big,
huge. You know, they know how tall, they know how much they weigh, they know their history. You know, and all this stuff.
The whole very specific backgrounds.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to do that. Really happy. And you know, we've done a couple of things. We did a Star Wars film.
Visions, of course.
Yeah,
I remember the TV series.
We've done recently a small thing, which maybe will go further with Lego. So, again, the economics are that we need to keep the studio busy because we employ a lot of people.
Yep.
So we're always looking for these opportunities. Many people, I'm sure, in the business would say, well, I say, that we'd love to do new IP.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. It's just really hard to get people to fund it. You know, they'll put money into some really dumb thing like a toy a spin-off for a toy or something like that. But a terrific new idea because new ideas are the future, right? I mean, you can't keep on going back to the past.
There's a lot of take on nostalgia, but I think the new things are crucial. And another big topic that I have to ask you something about is, of course, AI. There is a lot of talks and thoughts about AI, how it's going to affect creative technologies. You've spoken a bit about AI also in Vengeance Must Fall, the latest installment of Wallace and Gromit in some way. So do you think that for stop motion itself, the human presence will be non-negotiable? Or how do you think that AI could help?
Yeah, that is interesting. It's interesting you said how AI could help. That's good. I mean, at the moment, there's no doubt about it that the human presence, as you say, is our strong point. That's our unique thing that we do so well, and the audience loves it. It's hard to imagine a future where that won't be important, but it is also it's so obvious that somebody else can copy what we do. I don't think once we've got it, but can copy stock frame. And AI is so powerful and it's evolving so fast that you'll be able to copy stock frame very realistically. So and I think, as far as I'm concerned, that our philosophy will be to continue to do the authentic handmade thing, until such time as people don't care anymore. You know,
that's true.
Yeah, I hope
they don't have the sensibility anymore of.
I hope that's a long way off. I hope people, but that people caring, people. So if they're going to care, then they need to understand that what they're seeing is really handmade.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you'll know the difference between an object which is made by hand and an object which is made by machine. They're both like just a cup.
Yeah.
Simple thing. They both function in the same way. They both look quite similar, but one has more life in it somehow.
Yeah.
So that's what we persist in that. But practically speaking, the danger is this: that if we make a Shaun the Sheep episode, it costs a lot of money because there's so many people involved. Someone else could come along and make a series about a sheep in AI that would cost 10% of the budget maybe. So I guess the sensible thing, the wise thing, the forward-looking thing is to be prepared, ready, and if it becomes impossible, to fund Shaun the Sheep the traditional way, then we should do it the new way rather than somebody else, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One last question, a bit related to the latest one. If you were supposed to create Aardman Studios today from scratch,
Yes.
With the new technologies, new languages, new IPs, what would be the first thing that you would do?
I don't know if it's quite what you mean, but what I do think is that the online world is so significant now. I think maybe the answer would be if we were like 16 or 17 or something like that, very young. So you're that age, you're working at home. I would create the character online, and build it that way. I think so. Yeah. And if it was, it can be stock frame, yeah. It can still be real handmade stuff. You do it at home. As lots of people do. And occasionally, you see something, and you think, "Wow, that's really, really smart, really impressive." I mean, it would need to be a new idea. I think in some important way, it needs to be new. Because to be heard above all the voices, there's so many people working away, so many people competing for not enough space. So you'd need to be something that would grab the public's attention.
Nice.
But it could be very simple. It could be really, really simple. It's just a good idea. What can I say? A good idea. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Peter Lord, co-founder and creative director of Aardman Animations. And I'm Gianluca De Angelis from the second edition of the Stop Emotion Days. And this is Fred, the Festival Insider. Thanks again.
Thank you.